this was the first time that I saw someone running from their comfort. Amen. And so God had been walking, amen, with Adam. And so God used them. They had a chance to walk with God intimately. And up to this point, they had not needed a comfort because they were living in perfection. Amen. God had created the garden. They were living in it. And up to this point, sin had not entered into the world. Amen. And so, at this time, they didn't know God as the comforter in that way. But they were going to need a comforter after this. Amen. And so Adam and Eve hid themselves right at the moment that they needed a comforter the most. Amen. So right after they had transgressed against him, right after they had broken his command, that was when they decided, okay, we got to have, they came to this idea of, oh, we messed up. They realized that something was wrong. Amen. That they were naked. And so they were out there. Amen. So I found out the first thing why we would run from our comforter is because we are embarrassed and ashamed. And a lot of times that would lead us to stop praying. And so we stop praying because we are embarrassed and ashamed. Amen. And so, it was this realization to them. They realized, oh man, we messed up. And so we see all that came on them because, when God created man, he said it was very good. Amen. God was happy with his creation. He had created them to be in his image, amen, in his likeness. And so they were in a place where they had power. God brought them to him for him to make. So there was power, amen, that was given to him. But because he had been deceived, amen, and so he bowed down to the devil and sinning against God, he got to this place now that he was embarrassed, afraid, ashamed. And so they ran. They tried to get away from God, but we can't get away from God. Amen. And so, he was still there with them. And, God could have just gotten rid of them all together after that. But God showed his grace and mercy. Amen. He made things a little bit harder. Of course, we see the effects of the sin that came in. But God could have destroyed them right at that moment. Amen. And so even here, I see a comforter entering in. Amen. So God,